only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president.
Good morning, Africa. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Akwa Ibom State. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning to be alive, and it's a good day to rise and shine wherever you are. My name is Uyai Anyeka. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, great one there. Good morning and welcome to another edition of Rise and Shine. Of course, it's the midweek edition. It's a Wednesday, the 22nd of February, 3 days to the general elections. And I like the fact that a lot of people have started declaring 3 days fast, you know, just to make sure that the elections go well. But it's a good thing. After all, we are praying for a country that we love so much. My name is Janice Kobum. Thank you so much for joining us again this morning. Yeah, serious concerns.
Great things. But we are actually counting like 2 days, 22 hours to the elections. Actually, we're not like counting like that. 3 days is long.
It's like long.
But 2 days, 22 hours. But Janice is really close.
Yeah,
at this point, it's me will now ask you, how are you feeling?
Well,
what are your thoughts?
I am very expectant. I am looking forward to all the dramas that will ensue. I am looking forward to seeing Nigerians, you know, come out in their numbers, en masse, to make sure that they exercise their legitimate constitutional, you know, franchise. I'm also looking forward to discussing all of the issues that will be brewing up from the elections. It's going to be
definitely one big one.
It's going to be a whole lot. So I'm looking forward to that. You know, just sitting down and talking about Nigeria just brings it's some form of joy, you know, at the end of the day. I'm also very, how do I put it, elated that we are in a transition period, you know, moving from one democratic government to another democratic government. And I am looking forward to it being also very smooth, very seamless, without any rancor, without any form of violence, without any form of bloodshed. Just to also remind Nigerians that the international community is on our case. Like, it's more like there's a spotlight on Nigeria at this particular point in time. So it's a historic moment for us, where we are going to be moving from one democratically elected government to another. It just shows that our democracy is growing.
It's actually growing. That's some form of success.
When was it now? From 1999? Is it 1999? Yes, up till now. So we have like a record of unbroken democracy, and it's beautiful to see. Let's not also forget that we have our own peculiar challenges, okay? We have our peculiar challenges, but then I know that Nigerians have put their hands on the plow to make sure that our democracy is not scuttled in any way, it's not truncated in any way. We just try to like fix whatever it is that we are facing as challenges while moving up and continuing, you know, to strengthen our democratic ethos and all of that. So it's a great time to be a Nigerian, I must say.
Absolutely.
Let's not also forget that there's the whole drama of fuel scarcity and money crunch. Well, we'll see how all of that will play out in the elections. But, you know, one thing that I am super excited about, I saw that, I think on the BBC, Carry It early this morning, where they said before now, you know, our elections were more like against one political party, which is the opposition party, and the leading party, you know, but that story, that narrative is changing as there is that growing third force. So there's that third force that is being recognized. So Nigerians are going to be in a middle of trying to choose between the plethora of candidates at their dispense. So it's a great time to be a Nigerian, I must say. It's really a great time to be a Nigerian.
The expectation is high for everybody at this point. You know, fingers crossed, PVC is dusted. I mean, mean,
Exactly.
there's a lot of, for, faithfuls across all kinds of faiths. Now everybody is praying towards the election, the outcome we want to see. But I feel for myself, top of my expectation for the forthcoming election is that it should be peaceful. I've really been giving it some hard thought. Is it really worth losing lives over at the end of the day? The political elites are benefiting what they benefit. What exactly does the common Nigerian benefit that they will be the ones going to lose their lives? At this point also, we've had several conversations, all kinds of tensions also flying.
Yeah.
We are seeing people move from one party to the other. Parties are collapsing structure in favor of other parties. So there is a lot of unexpected twists and turns in the polity of Nigeria. At this point, the observers, like you mentioned, are actually going to be pitched for a brand new race like nothing they've ever seen before. I mean, over the past 3 dispensations that you've had to come, observe the elections now across different, political leaders, it's always been like, okay, when we come, we just saw PDP and APC.
More like you're choosing between this one
you're just
or this other one.
Yes.
Yeah.
But right now, I mean, literally, it's going to be a race of 4. Right, it's going to be a race of 4, so you're really looking at, what happened in Zamfara, how did they fare in Rivers State? So it's a lot of work at this time. They would have to be more proactive and more, it's not the kind of, let's just hold our papers and whatever we write and that's it. But there's need for more deliberateness, because this election too is also going to really change the tide of conversation about Nigeria in Africa and the world over. So it's expected Nigerians must be deliberately involved in the processing. We also said if we want peace during this election, it means that if I see something, I must be willing to say something. It's also expected that we have the phone contact of the police in our area, right? So that in case there's any kind of emergency that crops up in your polling unit or in your local government, you can quickly, place a call to the nearest police station. But let's all be alert. Now we have, like, our television station has our studio for elections are going to be open from Friday. Phone lines are displayed. Feel free to call. I mean, this is media widespread, Africa. So once you call in and place a report, let's know it can be handled, from there. But let's not just, like you would always say, let's not go to the polling units with clubs, but let's go with a mind that is ready to be proactive in case of anything we see. So have the right information. If problem, bust out in your polling unit, what is your how are you expected to respond to this situation, right? If you go to your polling unit and in quotes violence burst out, what are you expected to do? Are you just going to stand there, let evil come and meet you or something? So there's just going to be a need for Nigerians to be prepared. But I think top of this, I would say look for the phone lines of the nearest police station or whoever will be on guard in your polling unit and have it, so that anything you see, you say, and then from there the security agencies can help us further to maintain peace and order in the whole process. But I'm excited about these elections.
Definitely excitement in the air for all Nigerians at this very critical time in our history. We are going to be democratically transiting to another democratic government. But let's look at major stories making the rounds this morning. Of course, we saw the All Progress also had President Muhammadu Buhari join in that particular campaign, more like a last campaign to garner support for the All Progressive Congress presidential candidate Bola Asiwaju Tinubu. And it was also said that Major General Muhammadu Buhari has worked hard, according to Tinubu, has worked hard to ensure his victory in the February 25 elections. Tinubu has also promised to implement all the promises made in the past 96 days of nationwide campaign rallies. Tinubu said this at the grand finale of the APC campaign rally held at the Teslim Balogun Stadium, Surulere, Lagos State. According to him, his administration will give hope to the hopeless and create opportunities for the downtrodden. On his part as well, the president, who didn't speak to the audience, simply raised the hands of Mr. Tinubu and his running mate Kashim Shettima to signify his endorsement of their candidacy. Now, Tuesday's rally was the final leg of the All Progressives Congress presidential campaign rally, and it comes one day to the deadline approved by the Independent National Electoral Commission for all candidates to conclude their campaigns. More like 4 days to the presidential and National Assembly elections as when, you know, this APC rally was being held. Final campaign, and like we have seen, oh my God, it is more like a grand finale of a campaign rally, because just look at the crowd. Even on the walkways, and you know, everybody cheering
it's
on.
overwhelming.
Yes, cheering on Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And this is not even the Teslim Balogu Stadium. This is more like you know, the road leading, and you can see people everywhere cheering on Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The numbers are alarming at this point. These are the kinds of things that make Bola Ahmed Tinubu to just, you know, find himself with a lot of hope at this time. And it's beautiful to see that Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Shettima have rounded 36 states of the Federation in their campaigns. And of course, they ended a day earlier than INEC had said. It means that today we'll be seeing the ends of campaigns across the country for all political parties. And like, in spite of all the conversations that we've had, you know, when some form of mudslinging for Tinubu right there, but we've seen him take the energy on 36 states, you know, going around having the conversations. I think that's a really round one, and he deserves to be absolutely commended. And I mean, when we look at the numerical strength, the amount of masses he's been able to pull out in every state where he has gone for campaign, I mean, it's also something that is worthy of note. So almost about 3 days to the election, how is this going to turn out at the polls? We also saw the President of the Federal Republic, President Muhammad Buhari, keep to his words. He actually did campaign in 10 states he actually campaigned in 10 states for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and that is very, very, very commendable. But the twist to this particular campaign, I saw it a little offbeat when, you know, when I read the fact that he did not say anything in the Lagos State grand finale of the campaigns. He didn't, you know, give any statements. He didn't make any comments. All he did was raise the hand of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and that of Shettima. And I'm just questioning myself, is that really enough from the president at the grand finale of campaigns? I mean, that is like, you know, crossing the I's and dotting the T's at this point. Well, one would say that actions are louder than words, but
exactly, I want to say that
actions are louder than words, but also will not forget that the words of the president also are, you know, I mean, it carries a lot of weight. But I would have preferred to hear the president give some word, you know, on that particular campaign, seeing that it was the last one for the APC. But nonetheless, it's commendable too to see that he kept to his own side of the bargain, to be in 10 states to campaign for Tinubu out of 36 states. And I think that's a great one for the APC at this time.
Yeah, definitely a great one for the APC. But just like you said, a lot of people would say that words, you know, actions are louder than words. And others, and he said things, you know, when he was on those campaigns. So more like, okay, so that we've said everything. Let's not repeat ourselves. Let's not overflog the issue. You know that for him, the president of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu is his preferred candidate. He has endorsed him and nothing more. So raising his hands is just like an affirmation to my early endorsements and all of that. Let's not also forget that there's been trails, you know, trailing this particular administration as to even their supports for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. More like some people have said that the president is giving a body language that he wants somebody else, you know, to succeed him. And so he's doing everything to make sure that he proves the people wrong and, you know, clears those allegations. And so that's why we saw him at the grand finale of the presidential campaigns of the APC. Don't forget that he came in from Ethiopia like few days ago, you know, just to be part and parcel of this particular campaign. And we also saw his private jet, you know, bring him and all of that. So it was beautiful to see. But again, what will all of this numerical strength that we see in campaigns, you know, trailing the different presidential candidates, what will it relate to? What will it, you know, amount to at the end of the day? I think that's the major concern of a lot of Nigerians now. It's more than just coming out in your numbers, you know, to participate in campaigns. They could also tell you that, okay, so markets were shut down or business was shut down in that particular state, you know, just to make sure that people come out for the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress. It's possible, you know, but what does this translate into when it comes to the elections? Again, it's also worthy to note that a lot of the presidential candidates have actually gone back to their base, which is where they come from, you know, to put things together, to put everything together to make sure that, you know, the, what do you call it now, the elections will go smoothly. Bola Tinubu has retired to Lagos, which is where he's going to be casting his vote. I'm sure Alhaji Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party has also gone back to Adamawa. Yesterday we saw Peter Obi, the Labour Party presidential candidate in Anambra as well, and having a glorious home, you know, would I say homecoming, you know, and all of that. So it was all about the pomp and pageantry of campaigns and all of that. So we see that, yes, the elections will definitely hold. The different presidential candidates have gone back to base to make sure that they also exercise.
And a half, but it's finally here with us. All of the campaigns, we are going to see the end, you know, at the polls, who sold themselves best in Nigerians, and you know, all those fights and litigations also that really surrounded campaigns. I mean, we had like Atiku Abubakar and Tinubu at each other's throat, trying to find one litigation against the other, you know, finding ways to use the law to disqualify the other person. But so far so good. We've not had any, you know, judgment from any courts giving credence to all of those lawsuits. So as it stands, all these men are going to be on the ballot, and we expect that at the end of the day, it is what Nigerians go out to decide, you know, at the polls that will stand. And we do hope that Nigerians are getting ready and getting set for this particular election at this time. But then that's definitely everything we can take on that particular story. Great one to all the political parties at this time. You know, congratulations for those that have finished their rounds of campaigns. That should be like everybody, since they've all gone back to their base in preparation for the election. I think they've all done their best at this time. Now it's just to, you know, rest and trust the strategy that their presidential campaign councils put together for them as they traversed the country for, you know, their campaigns. Let us see if, you know, you were well sold to Nigerians and if Nigerians are going to buy what you are selling.
Exactly. You know? I like the fact that you said more like a rest to all the mudslinging and everything. Yeah. And more like a rest also to all of the gaps that we saw from, you know, Bola Ahmed Tinubu and all the internet trolling that, you know, trolled him, and for me, I just think that was just part of all of the dramas, you know, the dramas that is associated with campaign. So it's nothing too serious. While we are campaigning, let's also have ourselves some good laughs as well.
But you remember that when Goodluck Jonathan was the president of the country, I think he commended, or there was a report that said he was, you know, one of the most slinged presidents of the country. Like Nigerians, you know, dragged him a lot. He was cartooned in all kinds of things. So I'm wondering,
I'm even thinking Mama Patience was more cartooned and more cartooned, not even more slinged, but more cartooned. Till today, there are lots of skits and, you know, memes that she's being used for.
So let's just say the pair was, they were good fish in the hands of Nigerians.
But again, I like the way Mama Patience carried herself and, you know, reacted to all of the memes that was created and all of the laughs that she gave us.
She's comfortable in her own skin.
Yeah, very comfortable. Yeah. She wasn't locking anybody up, you know, just like Aisha Buhari
did. Do not raise the dust.
At some point, no, we need to mention some of those things, you know. She wasn't locking anybody up or asking the SSS to go after anybody. She just took it, you know, the way it came. And Nigerians had, I'm sure a lot of Nigerians will still tell you that they miss Patience and Bola Jonathan.
I mean, and even the political appearances and the impact that she had with whatever limitations, you know, you may think, she was there as the first lady. She was felt. She had works that she did. She defended her husband's polity in the the country and all of those kinds of things. But you know, I was trying to run quickly to a future where if we now have a Bola Ahmed Tinubu win, you know, the elections, what are the expectations with mudslinging? Are you, because you know, we just talked about the fact that mudslinging will rest now after the campaigns have been done. Now, what is it going to look like? What are the anticipation? What would you anticipate that maybe like cartooning, mudslinging by, you know, by Nigerians? What do you think it will look like if Bola Ahmed Tinubu won the elections? Are you sure it's not going to get like more intense in this country than, you know, than it currently is? What we have experienced during the campaigns, will it be worse if he became the president of the country, or will we just allow it to slide?
Don't forget that Bola Ahmed Tinubu's wife is very educated, Oluremi Tinubu. She's more like a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and so you expect that she will bring her, you know, knowledge and expertise together as the first lady as well. So she's very knowledgeable. I'm not also saying that other first ladies were not knowledgeable, but
no,
again,
I feel like you're doing that like in like pairing her with her husband, so like that pair is going to be a lot of help. I feel like that's like, you know, what you're saying, not so like the other people.
You mean all of the gaffes that, you know, we have experienced even during the campaigns?
Yes,
for,
those
Bola
gaffes and the
Tinubu.
things that have made him to be trolled.
Yes.
Now, if he becomes the president of the Federal Republic,
more like we'll have more of it.
It's going to, like, I feel like it's going to continue or might even get on the increase, right? It will not like lay low.
You also have a minister of information who might just be doing most of the talking. Yes, of the speaking and all of that. But I think at this point, we just put a pause on that particular conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Elections are almost over in Nigeria.
Almost.
And we are looking forward to a great time, you know, transiting to another democratically elected government. But let's look at what's happening with the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. She seems to always be on the internet, more like for the wrong reasons. Yeah, let's take a look at this.
You know, she's one of those first ladies that have not necessarily been talked about so much in her reign or with her husband for the almost 8 years. She has not really been there in the news for anything big or anything good in quote. Now, the wife of the president, Aisha Buhari, has denied authorship of a post claiming that the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, had extended validity period for old 1,000 naira and 500 naira notes till May 1st, 2023. The said message, which was later tagged as fake news by the CBN, had been cited on the First Lady's verified Instagram handle on Tuesday, but was later pulled down after a while as it had been labeled as fake news. Now, according to the fake press release, due to the current and unpleasant situation happening in Nigeria, in line with Mr. President, after having a closed-door meeting with him on the 20th of February 2023, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has been directed to only reissue and recirculate the old 200, 500 and 1,000 naira banknotes, and this is expected to circulate as legal tender for 70 days up to May 1st, 2023. Now, that was the information as carried by her verified Instagram page. Members of the public should therefore continue to spend the old notes. In another post on the same verified Instagram handle, Mrs. Buhari, in a reaction, denied posting the press release, but alleged her account had been hacked, and the fake post was another attempt at smearing her image by the same persons responsible for deleting many of her social media posts in the past. I mean, this is a lot for Nigerians to swallow. Of course, there's been a lot of reactions to this. She had said that she immediately ordered that the fake press release be taken down from her handle when it was discovered, even as she tasked security and intelligence agencies to investigate and bring culprits to justice. Now, in the new post to counter the old one, it said, "It has come to my attention that a certain fake news was posted on my social media handle on Instagram, which also directly connects to my Facebook page earlier yesterday morning. I have since directed that it should be deleted." I mean, that was her response after the post was brought down. Now, I think why this is also sparking a lot of reactions is that, like we've talked about in the past week, we've seen a lot of counter responses and counter directives being given around this whole porosity around the Naira note. We've seen the Supreme Court say one thing, we've seen the president say another thing, we've had governors of states say another thing. Now to have, you know, the first lady allegedly give news that could be misleading, although she has said, you know, her account was hacked, it just further you know, brings to our minds what is the state of the nation at this time with regards to people that are supposed to be handling the image of our country. And even if her accounts were to be hacked, why would they prefer to cash in on the cash crunch, you know, to further, I mean, like she said, smear her image or just put the country in a difficult place at this time. And there's going to be a lot of political suspicions around May 1st. Why are you dragging it all the way to when you know, your husband's tenure is about to elapse? So there's just a lot of reactions and sublime thoughts that could be attached to that post. But like you were saying earlier, you know, in just in passing, the wife of the president is one person who does not lay low when it comes to using the DSS or, you know, the security agencies to search out any matter to look for a person. And
exactly.
Then, yeah, she does
because she also sent DSS after the young chap, you know, that said something about she getting too fat and using government's money, you know, to feed fat on herself and all of that. So I think the DSS also should spring into action, you know, to bring the perpetrators, since it says that, you know, her account was hacked, whatever means they have to use, you know, to bring the perpetrators to book if actually the account was, you know, being hacked. But again,
I mean, we would have like an office of people that actually, you know, sits over the work of the accounts of the first lady.
But you know, one question that has been bugging my mind since this news came up, I'm asking, is the first lady, you know, free enough to the point that she handles her social media by herself?
Exactly my point. Exactly my point.
So she should have people handling her social media. She shouldn't be the one directly handling her social media. More like what she's supposed to do is to give accent to, okay, so let this fly and let this not fly, and not necessarily be the one handling her social media by herself. So if the DSS is to swing into action, you know, to bring the culprits to book, then they should actually start from those that are, you know, handling her social media.
Exactly.
And then again, she's saying that for the past how many months they've been trying to hack her account. It's a simple thing. You know, why not change your password if they've been trying to hack your account?
And that even shouldn't be hard for the people in her team to think of.
To think of.
I mean, why would they try to hack the first lady's accounts like how many times? And the tech people in the office of the, office of the first lady in quotes, or even people that are working with the president will not look into the issue and allow that to, you know, continue. I mean, it can actually skyrocket into all kinds of menace on the internet at this time if someone gets a hold of, you know, the official social media handles of the first lady. Someone can actually masquerade as her and do all kinds of things. So why will you have a scare one time, two times across different months and allow it to, you know, linger until we now had a cash situation in the country and the person had the boldness to be able to use it and paste something? But another angle could actually be that you know, maybe in good faith, the first lady was just trying to, you know, have some communication and have a say about this whole money issue. And then maybe she just got her facts wrong. You know, when you're saying that, I mean, the president extended the use of the old 200 Naira notes till April 10. It was extended by 90 days. So maybe one could just say, oh, maybe some typographical errors here and there, you know, maybe she didn't get her facts straight, you know, and then added up the 500 and 1,000 instead of the 200 Naira. It might have just been, I mean, the first lady trying to, you know, communicate to Nigerians, like the president has been saying, I see you, I see you, I see what's going on with, you know, Nigerians at this time. But it's just a lot of back and forth. And I think the reactions, why Nigerians are really taking it to heart is because over time we have seen the first lady not necessarily represent herself in the place of motherhood over the people. So it's easy for people to just get into the comment comment section and be like, you did this. We don't believe your account was hacked. Why would you do a thing like that? And when you now hear that she's, of course, sending DSS after, you know, whoever the hacker is, it's just like, okay, that's just expected in her character.
I think also that if you check, since she's become the first lady, she's not necessarily been, you know, one that has totally been on the side of her husband in terms of certain policies that have been done in time past. So you see her also want to commend somebody like the governor of Kaduna State, El Rufai, for coming out to say that some elements in the government of Muhammadu Buhari is trying to scuttle the chances of, you know, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So she's not been one person that has, you know, stood by her husband. She's been one very vocal person that would tell you, look, this is not right in this particular administration. So a lot of people also think that in line with all of this antecedent that she has shown over the years, this is just her coming out to say that, look, we want this whole money policy, you know, revoked. Let's the federal government stand by what the Supreme Court is ordering, you know, Nigerians to do, and also ordering the federal government to do at this point in time. But of course, we see Nigerians, you know, jump on this particular conversation to drag the First Lady. So let's take a look at some of the tweets Nigerians are reacting and how they are reacting to this particular story.
So this is Pearls, says Aisha Buhari claims her account was hacked. They got hold of her verified page that has two-factor authentication. The only thing they could post is a fake CBN newsletter. You may be smarter than Buhari and Bat, but we are smarter. Hey, we know that game. I laugh in Bala Blue. Okay? All right. Nigerians. Okay, so this is Honorable Henry Shield, First Lady of Fake News, Mrs. Aisha Buhari. But has she really fallen prey? This is like the first time she's...
As Aisha Buhari just posted this on her Instagram handle, yet it is not posted on any CBN handle. What is really happening in Nigeria? I think it just brings us
scoop.
Yes, it just brings us back to, you know, what you were saying, that at this point Nigerians are at the point of confusion. They do not even understand who are we to go with. Are we to go with the you know, the orders of the federal government led by President Muhammadu Buhari, or we are even to go by the Supreme Court order, or we are even supposed to be believing what Aisha Buhari is saying on her social media page. But the point of all of this is that she has put a disclaimer to the fact that it is fake news and hackers are the ones, you know, behind all of the atrocities being committed.
Well, that's about it. I don't know. Are we done with our tweets? We're done with our tweets. And I think we'll just let the story, you know, rest at that point, because it is what it is. She has apologized in court and brought down the post, and we expect that if there is a developing, you know, story and issue out of that, it's investigated, someone is brought to the book. Although one of the tweets has clearly stated how can you know, her account be hacked when they must have put a two-step authentication for the verified page of the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But I mean, it's her word against ours at this time. So let's just move to the news brief desk, where we have Mary Joseph on standby to bring us global news. And when we return, several other conversations are lined up for Rise and Shine this morning. Of course, we head straight to see what the national dailies are saying after that, so do stay with us.
which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria Police Force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian Police Force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court, my lord.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
As Nigeria prepares for the general elections holding from 25th February 2023, broadcasters are enjoined to make ethical reportage their watchword. All political programs shall observe the provisions of the Nigeria Broadcasting Code and other extant laws relating to broadcasting. All broadcasting stations must adhere to the principles of pluralism and ensure equitable airtime to all political parties or views. All political programs shall adhere to the general principles of legality, decency, and truthfulness. For the avoidance of doubt, the broadcast of a political campaign, jingle, announcement, or any other form of partisan party identification or symbol ends not later than 24 hours before polling day. Hate speech is prohibited. Be professional. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting. Announcer Management.
As of state and government, Secretary General,
This was the label voting for Spectrum TV to recover for the lapses in counting.
A very good morning to you and welcome to your morning news briefing Spectrum live from Uyo. I am Mary Joseph. We begin the news brief with the African Union Observation Mission, as it has said that it is on ground to support Nigeria through a peaceful, credible, transparent election and transition of power. Head of the AU Observation Mission, Uhuru Kenyatta, made this known on Tuesday when he led the AU Observation Mission on a visit to Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, in Abuja. However, the AU mission urged Nigerians to remain faithful to its democracy. Elsewhere, the United Kingdom has reiterated its commitment to impose visa restrictions on any politician caught inciting violence in the forthcoming election. The British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Catriona Lang, while urging Nigerians to come out en masse to vote for their choice candidate, said that they are prepared to take action on those who will incite electoral violence and any anti-democratic behavior. She urged the incoming president to take the economy a top priority by building a strong, inclusive team, including women and young people, and also reaching out to other political parties. Away from that, the federal government has assured of its readiness to ensure a smooth transition of power despite the current wave of protests across the country triggered by the scarcity of naira notes. National Security Advisor Babangida Mugunu made known the pledge in Abuja at a meeting of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security. Accusing some partisans of trying to take advantage of the situation, the government also assured Nigerians of a free, fair and credible election. On the foreign scene, Vladimir Putin has sharpened his viceroy towards the West as President Joe Biden, fresh from a visit to Kyiv, praised Western democracy for standing up to naked Russia aggression. In a week heavy with events ahead of Friday's anniversary of Russia's Ukraine invasion, Mr. Putin spoke first. He claimed that the West has also enabled Nazi Germany and had turned Ukraine into a neo-Nazi regime that was anti-Russia. In sports, Laden Bosso and his Flying Eagles team are convinced that they can kickstart their quest to qualify for the next round of the ongoing Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations tour and represent Africa at this year's FIFA Under-20 World Cup finals in Indonesia later this year. The seven-time winner of the competition began the tournament on a shaky note, losing 1-0 to Senegal last Sunday, but could revive their bid to reach the quarter-final of the competition if they defeat host Egypt at the Cairo International Stadium. That's all on our news brief this morning. We'll bring you details of this and more in our news at 12. I am Mary Joseph. Let's head back to Rise and Shine where we have Janice and Uyai on standby. Have a wonderful morning.
Government. Secretary General, delegates.
Disastrous day in Lagos, Nigerian for Spectrum TV to recover 40 lives since sleeping counting.
As of state and government. Secretary General, delegates.
Disastrous day in Lagos, Nigerian for Spectrum TV to recover 40 lives since sleeping counting.
Many thanks for still being there. Rise and Shine Daily Wednesday edition. And we just came up the news brief desk where we had Mary Joseph give us some global stories around the world. But just to keep you up to speed with some of the major conversations we've had so far, that's if you're just joining us. Of course, we talked about the APC campaign mega rally, grand finale of their campaigns yesterday in the Teslim Balogun Stadium, where we saw President Muhammadu Buhari also in attendance and his final endorsements to the candidacy of Bola Tinubu and Kashim Shettima. And of course, we also touched light on the wife of the president, Aisha Buhari, who allegedly posted now, a fake information about the CBN Naira policy on her Instagram and Facebook page. But she's come out to say that some unscrupulous elements are trying to hack into her accounts and put a disclaimer to the fact that she wasn't the one behind that particular fake news. So at this point, we just take a quick one into a Spotlight Dailies, where we get to bring you major stories on our national dailies. Spotlight Dailies is right now.
To begin our Spotlight Dailies this morning, we'll go straight to this day newspaper. The very big story there on the front page of the newspaper says UK Jonathan, Archbishop of Canterbury, appeal for violence-free, fair elections. United Kingdom temporarily closes visa application centers ahead of polls. No Nigerians should be intimidated in voting candidates of their choice. ACF NEF Ohaneze won. NLC urges workers to turn out massively to vote on Saturday. Tinubu to Buhari, I'll work hard for Nigeria, same way you worked hard for me. APC denies ex-Lagos governor through words of Naira notes to crowd. Campaign urges INEC to provide data of collected PVCs in 24 hours. That is so big. Okay, so CBN only owed 200 Naira banknotes reissued for circulation. That story can be found on page 12 of this day newspaper. We also have you, of course, on the front page of this day newspaper, adverts and endorsements for Atiku Abubakar, the man whose time has come, the safe choice for a growing Nigeria. These are all the stories that we have on the front page of this day newspaper.
Okay, let's take a quick look at the Punch newspaper this morning. Lots of stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper. It says, the big story here says, Naira crisis, cash-trapped Nigerians banks on Supreme Court as hearing resumes today. Cash-trapped Nigerians bank on Supreme Court as hearing resumes today. And the writer says governors demand Malami, Emefiele sanction for contempt of court, and banks extend old 1,500 notes collection mop up to April 10. Panic in black markets as dollar-naira rate fluctuates sharply. Moving forward, organ harvest are reported Aquarium murder to police, says victim. You can get that story on page 29. Anambra killings panel begins on site assessment. IG rejigs RRS. You can find that story on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. And then we move now to all the stories making it on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Of course, the statement of Tinubu is here again. It says, I'll work for Nigeria as Buhari worked for me. And police Amotekun nab suspects with fake new notes. Kerosene price rises to 136%. 5 police chiefs posted to Rivers CPS redeployed. I think those are just the major stories here on the front page of the Punch newspaper. But this is just to let you know that if you're watching us and you want to be part of our conversations, of course, we'll soon open up the phone lines for you to be a part. Call us and let us know your thoughts as we reel out the headlines this morning. And if you try to call us, you can get through to us. Do well to send us text messages or WhatsApp messages. Of course, we'll take your reactions live here on set.
We'll take our very next paper, and that'll be the Daily Sun, front page of the Daily Sun this morning. And the very big story there says, heavy security at INEC offices. Sensitive materials arrive state FCT. Security agents begin show of force in Anambra. Atiku to Wike, you are chicken hiding under costume of lion. He's not interested in vendetta, against Rivers governor, says PDP. That story can be found on page 26 and page 27. I think that's the highest I've heard Atiku Abubakar not sling anyone. Wow. At the end of everything. All right. So court rules on federal government ASU suit March 28th. The court is going to rule on federal government and ASU suit on March 28th. That story can be found on page 27. We also have here NNPLC confirms rise of oil production to 1.6 million barrels per day. Celebrate success made in deal with private security outfit to check oil theft. Gunmen set woman ablaze, raise helms of 2 commissioners, DSS office in Imo. I'll restore hope to masses, build new Nigeria, says Tinubu, page 27. NLC task INEC on transparent electoral processes. Benue, Abia CPS reads Riot Act to miscreants. That story can be found on page 6 and page 8. Vote for me, Dati to save Nigeria, Obi, page 6. NYC gives core members security tips as election officers. Advises them to surrender BVA's machine, election materials to save their lives if need arises. Page 8 is where you can find that story. Naira swap. APC governors file contempt suit against Malami and Emefiele. Page 27 is where you can find that story. We are following events in Nigeria closely, says UK. Reiterates visa sanctions on electoral offenders. INEC accredits 146,913 observers to monitor elections. That's quite a large number. Ohaneze, ACF, NEF want federal government to guarantee citizens' safety. Page 26, and that's all the stories that we have on the front page of the Daily Sun.
Okay, we'll just take our very last paper for this morning, and that will be the Nation newspaper. Of course, we see that the major caption or the big story on the Nation this morning says colorful road show draws curtains on Tinubu's campaign. Of course, one story that we had earlier today on the show. And Naira crisis, state file contempt against Malami and Emefiele. 3 days to go. The best man for the job is Bat. Okay, that's another one there for support of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And Wike, Rivers knows who to vote as president. Okay, so I'm trying to get this. Oni loses again. Okay. Anyways, Wike is saying that Rivers State knows who to vote for as president. And we have uncovered plots to cause civil unrest on poll day, says NSA, that's National Security Advisor to the President. What else do we have on the front page of the Nation? I think that's just about it on the front page of the Nation this morning. Those are just the major stories there.
I think something that drew my attention now would be the call for INEC to publish the number of persons that have been able to get their PVCs across the country. I said that a few months ago. That's very, very important, because that is one thing that will guide against us having overvoting. It will also help us check overvoting in any state, in any place in this country. Like we said, we had the statistics for the number of persons that registered for their voters cards. Let's be able to have the statistics and the numbers across state of people that were able to collect their PVCs, not forgetting that we've had people call from several states and complain that some systemic fault had made sure that they don't have access to their PVCs, and those people are going to be disenfranchised from voting in this particular election. So I think I'm all for let INEC give us the numbers of persons that have gotten their PVCs at this time, especially because we're beginning to have pockets of reports here and there of having people, that have been double-crossed by our security agencies. People coming in from other neighboring countries found with PVCs in some northern states, to come and, vote and all of those kinds of things. But thankfully, we had customs interject some of those people. But it is important that we have these numbers given by INEC to, help us forestall those kinds of things, so that we know that if INEC Nigeria in Kano State delivered 1.5 million PVCs, for instance, we know that we are not expecting 2.5 million votes out of a state where only 1.5 people got their PVCs. So I think it's very important. I take
Okay,
that.
before we even continue on the conversation, please, we need the phone lines open right now so people can call. The question is, like Daily Sun has said, heavy security at INEC offices and sensitive materials are being distributed across board. Let us know, is INEC truly ready for the elections on Saturday, which is the 25th of February, and of course on the 11th of March as well? Is INEC actually ready? Now, we got calls, according to what you guys says, that yesterday we had callers from Kaduna, we had callers from Kano State that called to say that, they have not gotten their PVCs. So all of this put together, do we think that the INEC, which is the electoral umpire of Nigeria, do you think that they are actually ready? And what would we be doing at this point in time? More like crossing the T's and dotting the I's as citizens to make sure that we exercise our constitutional franchise. Many questions, but I also like the fact that there's just that heavy security presence at the INEC office, across board. And let's not also forget that we've seen a lot of burning down and destruction of INEC facilities across the country, and especially in southeastern Nigeria as well. And INEC also is giving us the body language that they are actually ready, to carry out this election on Saturday and on the 11th of March as well. But again, would we say that they are totally ready, to make sure that we have a free, fair and credible election? Will we say that they are also ready to make sure that, the voter apathy that we have experienced over the years will be curbed to a large extent by having people, have their PVCs? I know that some people would actually argue, that Nigerians are the ones not coming out, to get their PVCs and all of that. But then we have had situations where Nigerians go to this particular polling unit to get their PVC, and they're told that, no, you're not supposed to get your PVC from this spot. You're supposed to go elsewhere, to get your PVC.
Or the fact that I wasn't even ready.
Did INEC sensitize Nigerians enough to make sure that everybody knows exactly where to get their PVCs from? And even if I go and I cannot get my PVC, is INEC telling me why exactly I am not getting my PVC, and possibly when I should be expecting my PVCs?
Yeah, there's been a lot of people with that particular complaint as to we don't even know why we do not have, our PVCs. They were not given any, what would I call it, any concrete reason for their PVCs not being available. And I mean, yesterday we had allegations of people saying that these things are done in certain states where some political parties or some candidates know that they might be falling short of, what would I call it, loyalists or people that are interested in what they have to sell in those areas. So you find out that people are having it difficult in those areas to get their PVCs. Now that's like a major concern at this time. But which way forward right now as of the moment? Where are we heading? How ready do we think as Nigerians that INEC is for the election? Something else we can talk about there in your different areas. Now we're talking about the fact that the military has been deployed to several states of the Federation at this time. We also see here in our dailies this morning that we also have sensitive materials being delivered to the 36 states of the Federation. It means that come Saturday, February 25th, our elections are holding. With all that INEC has continued, to put out everything that they have done so far, do we believe that they are ready for the kind of election we want to have in this country? we've seen Mahmoud Yakubu and the entire team put in the best efforts that they can, in spite of all of the experiences that they've also had as an institution. I mean, several of the facilities have been burned in different parts of the country, losing several materials. Now, looking at recovery time, you know, the time they had from the time of those incidents and being able to recover those things, how much ground have they been able to cover? Let's not have untold stories about the fact that in some of those states where things and, you know, their facilities were burned, we have not recovered to be able to make sure that elections will hold there. You know, let's not find out these things after the elections. It's better we know that, okay, for so and so states where, you know, our facilities were burned, we were able to recover these and put this in place for the elections. But when it comes to this and this, as a result of the arson that happened, we will not be able to cover the grounds. I think these are, you know, the kinds of information that Festus Okoye and the rest of them should put out there at this time. Nigerians should not wake up to shocks by INEC of, you know, especially with information that might have been of help to the citizens. And I think another very important, you know, point, something you talked about earlier, was, you know, the confusion as to where am I going to vote, where is my polling unit, especially because we've also had INEC collapse, you know, some polling units to some others and taken out some people to other places to vote. So it might not literally be an issue of I'm just going to look at my PVC and with the digits there I will just know that, okay, I'm in Ward 2, Unit 3, I'll go there and vote. It might not be that situation, because maybe there might be a peculiarity in your area where you have that INEC has, you know, currently put you in another unit to go and vote. So I think something else that technology is really helping us in that regard is that I know that if you Google it right now, you're going to find codes that you can put in certain numbers on your PVC and you will get all the information that you need as to where your current polling unit is and, you know, other informations of things you will need for the election. So I feel like it's important to note that the internet is also readily available to give us information of things that we need pending the election on Saturday.
Yeah.
So let's not be lost in the sea of information. And if you do not, you know, if you're not clear on certain things, it's also important for you to ask questions. Whether you're watching TV, call the phone lines on the screen, ask the questions. If you're listening to radio in your locality, and, you know, the media also has certain answers that it can help you with. I think it's
certain
important.
answers, but not all of the answers.
Not all of the
because
answers.
I know that, you know, most times the media also relies on INEC to give these informations, and when INEC is not bulging in terms of giving this information, it puts the media also in a very precarious situation. What do we tell, you know, the public? Because the public also very largely depends on the media, you know, for such informations and all of that. But again,
I think it's just dangerous to run blind at this point.
Yeah, I also think that it is very important for INEC to clear all PVC collections if that has not been done, because there's been a lot of allegations as to INEC trying to deliberately, you know, disenfranchise a lot of Nigerians. And it's just, you know, to glean on one of the callers yesterday that said that, okay, so if this particular zone is for a particular political party, they stifle the opportunity of you trying to get your PVC just because they don't want that candidate, that particular candidate, to win in that zone. But if it is more like their own zone, you know, they make sure that, you know, they do everything possible, you know, to get their PVCs. So we don't want a situation where Nigerians are put in that spot and they begin to, you know, criticize the ingenuity of INEC, or try to like say that INEC is partisan to all of that, what is happening. So if INEC is coming up as the electoral umpire in the state, I think that there has to be that, you know, a space where we can say that, yes, INEC has actually conducted a free, credible, and, you know, good elections at the end of the day. But again, we'll just take a breather at this point in time. We have a guest who is going to be joining us very soon. Citizen Matthew O'Connor will be joining us on set this morning to look at some of the major stories on our national dailies and try to see how we can also analyze them and put Nigerians in the know of some of the things that are happening in terms of information and education as well. We'll take a breather now, and when we come back, of course, we'll be joined by our guests. Just stay tuned.
One truth not often told is about the transformation that Africa has undergone in recent decades. Africa is shaping its own destiny and should be referred to as the African opportunity. On Spotlight Africa, we paint the African picture the African way, laced with truth, detail, and the color of the African continent. Join Uyai Anyekan every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Spotlight Africa, telling the African story.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police.
No, my lord, I want to say something. If we cannot find those who lead...
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempt.
Our cases which are in court.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord. I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m.
Welcome. Having several conversations that we also want you to continue that you raise. To have this Matthew O'Connor here to have the conversation with us, of course, he's Cital Live. Good morning, Matthew O'Connor. Good to have you on the show this morning.
Good to be here once again.
Yeah. It is elections in two days, maybe 21 hours now. Foreign stance.
Very, very important. Yeah. Good job. The water resource you do, and a lot of commendations. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
stories on our front page of the National Daily's democratic history. Of course, we're just talking about the fact that we've had series, long years of unbroken series of challenges from fuel scarcity that's alleged that the elections might not hold. So, but we have it on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning that cash-strapped Nigerians, they're banking their hope on the Supreme Court hearing that the first order that was given was total.
My assessment is that we've not been running democracy. Government of the people, by the people, write or speak, can re-echo it. It becomes like an anthem. Batch of leaders emanated because of the desire of people to participate and determine. Getting into the second term, we started seeing people who have discovered that, oh, democracy has come to stay. So what do? We need to consolidate. So people started jostling for consolidation of their power base, enough that we had something like third term.
During Obasanjo's time.
Yeah, during Obasanjo's time. And some very seasoned persons who were afraid that a number of the politically exposed persons will end up in Krikri or Kuje and all of that. So those ones started saying, we can now come in. What we now discovered was that some persons, they are still there. Is it because of themselves? And they now discover that the best way to remain in public office, tokens. And before you know it, voter apathy together, it makes it very easy for some, guarantees them free money and whatever. So how do we educate citizens? Because where citizens are unable to ask questions and demand for answers, what you have cannot be democracy. When leaders are not accountable to citizens, that is not democracy. The real leaders are the citizens. Every 4 years, at the state and national level, sometimes every 3 years, at local government levels, people should be going back to give accounts. As they give accounts to the people, people will now say, yes, you have done well or you have not done well. But now, nobody gives account. The public officers are emperors. That's why you find even at the national level. Meanwhile, though it's a federation, but there are some policies like that, this Naira crisis, which is on an exclusive list. But you find states and governors holding meetings. You find even the ruling party going against the president's directive, and also the president going against the Supreme Court decision. But to summarize all of that, where has that gotten us to? I tell you, Janice and Uyai, no matter the judgment that will come out today, it won't change the suffering, the trauma on the people, and the threat that voter apathy is going to be.
Hello?
All right, that's a drop call. I think you were hitting something on the head very strongly.
Yes.
The fact that there was a lot of excitement on the hearts of Nigerians and expectation towards the election, but you seem to be saying that this Naira scarcity and fuel scarcity is going to really down the ability of Nigerians to cash out on that excitement.
Yes, because in the first place, you look at the fuel crisis. I know there are some places, maybe like in Abuja, I don't know how much it's selling now, but the last time somebody was trying to fact check, while we were buying fuel here at between 300 and 400, Abuja was about 180 or thereabout, even Lagos. It means there are some states where fuel crisis has reached its peak. Be that as it may, you now add that to the Naira crisis. What I can term this season is a lockdown. There is a lockdown. People can hardly move. I needed to do transfer to a commercial motorist to be able to vehicle. There's no way people can move. And when you have the knowledge that a number of voters are resident in the cities, they registered in their villages, in their units, and they go there with excitement, how many people will be able to move to where they registered on the eve of the election, because the same unscrupulous politicians who have access to money may capitalize on this and get vehicles, move people like delegates, go and camp them and feed them, and then the vote buying that we tried to avoid, that Mr. President tried to avoid, and Emefiele, howbeit very poorly delivered, is going to be, has been worsened, not is going to be, has been worsened.
Okay, let's even come back to, you know, you said that you're not expecting anything less, you know, from, or anything serious from the Supreme Court's ruling today, or the session that we will be having today.
Yeah.
So, but Nigerians are hoping, you know, that the Supreme Court will salvage the situation, even though we are not forgetting also that it was the first order was never, you know, obeyed in the first place. It was outrightly flouted.
It's a very simple thing. You look at issues on their merit. Mr. President first gave 7 days as the timeline for things to normalize. As that when he said that, 7 days had looked like eternity for me. Why? People that do money laundering, vote buyers, it was targeted at specific people in the leg. And you discover that cancer spreads. So what do? If it calls for amputation of the leg so that the cancer will not spread, you go for it. You know, somebody doesn't have cancer in the leg. It is so mismanaged, a very wonderful policy that will have rubbished people who feel that they are the lords, they are the emperors, and as long as money and policy is concerned, nobody can beat them. There are people like that. If it's a money issue, there are people, even government would not be able to compete.
Okay.
So what has happened? He used that 7 days window to put the new currency in circulation. Like the 200 naira that Mr. is in love with cows.
Yeah.
So he had to bring
that
back
was on a lighter note though.
200 naira and 100 naira are some of the most rotten things. So limit of withdrawal. That should not to be able to ever note that has been in it will have no effect. So Supreme Court ruling, they should have had it, and once they said that things have normalized, said yes, because of this, the Supreme Court is saying this. The old 500 and 1,000 naira note. As I sit with you, I only reserved one 1,000 naira note for posterity. I'm even looking for who I can buy 500 naira from to have it in my archives. You have to bring your gun so that this and that, and people go and tender their guns. License.
Okay, I like the fact that, you know, you made mention of the fact that the issue of vote buying would even increase at this point in time, because the truth of the matter is that Nigerians are hungry.
Yes.
They cannot even access the monies that they had to go dump in the, you know, and also try to feed them and tell them, look, this is what you're going to vote for at the end of the day. Yeah. So it's just, I shouldn't have too much hope on the Supreme Court at this point in time, because what makes it different, you know, from the first order that was given. We have to take this call. We've had our phone lines buzzing all the while. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, our first female caller. Good to have you on the show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, please. I saw the question on the screen.
Okay, go ahead and react to it.
They have to do the election so they're out of hunger.
Okay, we didn't get your name and your location.
After this election. Definitely, I'm calling from Aba. Okay. I'm Juliet.
Juliet calling from Aba. Thank you so much. Yes. Okay. All right. That's all you want to say? All right. Thank you very much for calling Juliet from Aba. We appreciate you. I mean, she's asking and hoping that INEC is ready for the elections as we need to change things. Yeah.
Very good. It's meeting with the CBN governor. Or even as I think, was it yesterday or so, we understand that money has been released to INEC. So we want to believe that INEC is ready.
All right.
The main question will be, are citizens ready?
All right, let's take this other call. Hello, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? All right, let's take this one.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
My name is Felix Ayuba.
You're calling from Adamawa?
Yes.
Your name?
You get to the bank and this money is not even available. You get to 200 naira. These are 200 naira that on a good day you won't collect it. But as it is now, because we have no option, we have to do it. Tell you once the money has some defect, they will not collect. I don't know now. There is nobody that is getting any money now because the money is not even made available. I don't.
Wow.
There's not that kind of thing. I don't just know what they really had in mind when they planned all this thing. But my prayer is not just for it. You bring it out. That's just my prayer. And use the mental dinner to pay your transport. So when you're coming back, if you have something to take you home, you know you don't even know how to feed your children.
How do you see this affecting the elections, in your own opinion?
The people it will affect. For those that used to go to their local government to go and cause PVC in the name of they want to vote maybe their brothers or their sisters in their local government, though they are staying in the state capital, they will go to the local government to go and cause. How will they transport themselves now? You understand? Doesn't mean you have to go to the park and you now use POS or POS to pay money, transport, which means definitely it's going to affect those that cannot make it. You don't have cash, and the driver will tell you need cash to maybe perhaps change your place. Directly, it's going to affect the voting. So whatever aim they had, I don't know.
Okay.
So it's like people sitting.
So much, Felix, for calling and giving your thoughts this morning. Serious.
Nigerians are not happy at all with all of the suffering. You have a 200 naira. People are saying this morning that there's just a whole lot of hope today.
I think I wanted to make a give will affect to hope. So if the policies like Kaduna State honors
against the federal government.
that I give me the broadcast later in the day telling them continues that a lot of kidnappers are people that this policy we're trying to target. The Supreme Court should consider national security. If I were Mr. Peace the people, you can be said.
Yes.
We need to give scores when people walk.
The phone lines are
Okay, that was a drop call. Because something I was through. Because I've also been thinking, whatever the Supreme Court says in their hearing today, we do not have the window of time between now and the elections to really implement it nonetheless. So we are going to still see that status quo is going to remain with regards to money crunch versus banks. For some very funny reason, do not have cash in their votes, so to speak. That's the way it's been presented. So what can we even do differently?
What can be done differently, going by the antecedents of a Mefele? For me, I've said so in several platforms, I hardly blame Mr. President for things.
Okay.
I respect old age. I believe in leadership. And there are people that have grown beyond the level of doing a day-to-day running of very critical things. It is too burdensome on them. And Mr. President has been very honest about his approaches to things. The things that you feel that concerns you so very much, so critical, he will tell you, I'm not aware. How do you, you can't blame him.
Let's take a call, please. Let's take a call very quickly. Hello? Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Please, can you turn down the volume of your television sets, please? Turn it
Good
down.
morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. We can hear you.
What's your name and where are you calling us from?
This is Stanley. I'm calling from Kaduna.
Okay, Stanley, go ahead.
Yeah, the question first was whether Nigerians are ready to vote.
INEC.
In this very election.
Is INEC even ready to allow Nigerians vote? That was the question. A lot of people say they've not gotten their PVCs.
We are begging INEC. INEC, we are kneeling down, we are begging you. INEC, please give us free and fair and credible election. Don't just come on television and tell us that you are ready while you are not ready. Let the promise of this time around not be like other promises. Please give us a credible election. Nigerians are ready. We are ready. We are ready to sacrifice whatever it takes for this very election. We are ready. Then coming to monetary issue, this is another scarcity. I mean, Kaduna, our governor has given order, the president gave order. But ask him who obeyed his order, the governor. Who obeyed the governor's order? He just gave the order to his own office. He cannot give it even the market that he has demolished, the houses has demolished, the people he has sacked from work, the people that some of them have even died. Their people are crying for vengeance. And it is the vengeance of those poor masses that are pushing El-Rufai now, that is running up and down, seeking for about this for Savior, but he will not get it.
So Stanley, let's get this very clear. Currently, are you using the old Naira notes in Kaduna State or not?
Using anything. Forget about them. Nobody's using anything. Nobody using any old Naira notes in Kaduna. Nobody. Quote me. Nobody. I am in Kaduna State now. Nobody is using any old Naira notes. Forget about people who doesn't come to Kaduna, who doesn't know Kaduna, and they'll be in the south, telling you what is happening where they don't. I'm living in Kaduna. Nobody is using old Naira notes.
No, you know, it was not actually. It's not a south or western thing. It was the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, who gave the order. So people are just speaking in reaction to that.
To himself and his family, not to us in Kaduna.
It's good to know
that.
that.
We are buying new Naira. My sister, listen. We are buying new Naira notes. 1,000 Naira with 200 Naira in here in Kaduna. So if you want to get 5,000 Naira notes, you are going to pay 5,000 Naira notes, you pay 6,000 Naira. That is what we are suffering in Kaduna, and somebody will be there telling you can make
all right, thank you, Stanley. I think you've made your point.
We are
ready to vote. We are only begging INEC. INEC, we are begging you. No, we are suffering. Our suffering is just 4 days. It will be over. Let us sacrifice this very day and vote this very election.
All right.
It's very, very important to us.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Stanley.
Thank you, Stanley.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I just tip in something
there. Please go ahead.
I love that call for caller from Stanley from Kaduna. There's a video trending about 2 days ago. The old Naira is not being accepted in Kaduna. But we also look at the antecedent of El-Rufai. Is one of the governors who has not been respecting court orders, even as a minister of Federal Capital Territory, even as a governor of Kaduna State, a long list of court orders he doesn't respect, believing that nobody can talk
above the law.
Yes. So, your state has been the center of terrible insecurity. The southern Kaduna has turned to a mass grave, and kidnappers and terrorists. They are making so much money there. The people that may benefit from El-Rufai's statement may actually be people who have access to illicit money.
Okay.
So it's very dangerous.
Please, let's take this call, please. Hello. Hello. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Chika. Yeah.
Okay, Chika, where are you calling from?
Calling from Anambra State.
From Anambra State. Good to have you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Please, I want to talk about the Naira scarcity.
Go ahead.
Here we are suffering. Yeah, we are suffering here in Anambra. People hardly see money to eat with.
Okay, before you go on, please, can you turn down the volume of your television sets? Can you turn it down, please? We are having a hold back.
Yes, so if you go to POS in the exchange of what baffles me yesterday is that APC got 5,000. How did they manage to get that money? That's what's happening. I'm talking about yesterday. They went for their rally.
Chika, thank you so much. A lot for your call. We hear you yesterday in Anambra State. It was shared, and she has called out the APC.
This I want to say it again, that the people that are complaining, people that are suffering, are the citizens, not really the politicians. The politicians are not really complaining. Why? A number of them own banks. A number of them have supporters who own banks or who are bank managers. And when you know Nigeria for the Nigerian factor, a bank manager or a bank may do everything possible to tell somebody, sir, or your excellency, this is my contribution to this election. And they will move monies, the volume that if you hear or maybe see or get to know, you just wish
a party spenders
of a terrorist in the forest.
And I know that in 2022, how much are we even talking about that was printed, goes unaccounted for? And
hello, good morning. Your name is what?
Tony. Based on there is some places that voters of people collected their grassroots here and see how for them that are doing Naira will come out because then to bring it out. So we may short
hang in there till the elections are over if we can just hold out.
It must be a level of sacrifice by citizens. That is why I say monies, and then you will assess the store.
This is reverse.
How many of our currencies did you print? 500. How has been talking about?
Yeah.
Round, even if you are doing transfer, you have killed the economy. So CBN has never, or at least from my own study, my own research, I have not seen 500 and 1,000.
And sent out this amount.
And when he was putting the blames on the banks, that they are printed enough, it meant that the banks were the saboteurs. But which bank will risk his branch or his image by not giving out these monies and then risk the burning of banks like we have seen, destructions of their ATM machines and a lot of that? It shows that somebody is not telling the truth somewhere.
Yeah, because I remember it brought us to a position where we were asking, who is telling Nigerians the truth at this moment?
At this point, yeah.
Okay, so CBN is saying enough money has been disbursed. Commercial banks are saying we do not have the money. But again, we also saw situations where CBN and ICPC have seen across the nation. So on that particular election, we have 2 days to the general election.
That whatever money, INEC is just a factor. So if are they ready?
Yeah.
To be
here today and handling a lot of the
Thank
issues.
you so very much.
Yeah, Adamawa, Stanley from Kaduna State, Chika from Anambra, Tony Eze from Benue State, and every other person. My name is Uyaniek, and thanks for being a part of our show today.
All right, and my name is Janice Cobham. It's been a great show. Once again, we want to say big thank you to all of you that called in. Of course, the show cannot be complete without you. Thank you for your time, and we'll do have a great day.